Hello, I'm Richard Hunter, Head of Markets, and welcome to our look ahead for the week commencing the 6th of November. After what was a pretty dismal October, November has started off in rather more positive fashion. The latest interest rate decisions on both sides of the pond were basically designed to leave interest rates on hold. Where this has changed the narrative, particularly in the States, is that the end of the hiking cycle could now be over. And that particular thing has basically driven yields lower, which in turn, of course, has been positive for equities. At the same time, we're getting near to the end of the quarterly reporting season, which for the most part has been very positive, particularly in the US. So those things together have rather changed the situation, although it's early days in November, of course. So in the year to date, the Dow Jones has now moved back into positive territory. It's up 2%. S&P 500 is up 12.5%. Nasdaq is up 27%. And the FTSE 100 has also moved back into positive territory just by 0.1%. In terms of next week, there's a few retail-like companies reporting, so three companies to look out for. The first one is Associated British Foods, share price up by about 54% over the last year. Of course, they are the owner of Primark, which has now moved back to being the main contributor to group profits. In fact, it's expected that the full year sales for Primark could near £9 billion, which would represent growth of 15%. So it's very much worth keeping an eye out on that top line. Any developments either in terms of its website, which is still rather lacking compared to some of its competitors, and indeed its US presence will also be looked out for. And then, of course, being a big conglomerate, it's the other parts of the business which will also be reporting at the same time, the likes of sugar, agriculture and grocery. Also, half-year numbers from Marks and Spencer's. Shares here up 105% over the last year, which resulted in their being promoted back into the FTSE 100, of course. Underpinning a lot of this growth has been a rather revitalised clothing and home unit, where M&S has been trying to shake off its rather dowdy image and appeal to what it considers to be, what it describes to be, the modern mainstream customer. Of course, underpinning all that, it's still got a strong food offering. Other things to look out for here, the joint venture with Ocado and whether it's showing any signs of improvement. And there was also some threat of a promise from M&S that it might even return to the payment of a dividend at the half-year results. So that will be another announcement to look out for. Finally, WH Smith has full-year results. Shares haven't done too much over the last year, down about 4%. There have been worries about currency headwinds on some of their international business and indeed the general economic backdrop. That being said, they do of course have the benefit of some rather captive customers in the likes of airports, train stations and so on. When we last heard from them in the September update, the travel unit had actually seen revenues grow by 42%, although the high street units had dipped by 1%. Nonetheless, overall that left the group revenues up by 28%, so we'll need to see exactly how they are faring, particularly now that a lot of the easy COVID comparisons have now dropped out. Thank you for watching. Have a great week.